And we are live. What's happening, y'all? Welcome. This is Creatia Comics. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet Tea, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC, aka Papa Dungy. I am your here to do
Papa
Creation Comics. Yeah, that was a new one. I didn't come up with that one. Like I didn't come up with most of those. That was given to me by someone else. However, I'm joined by my co-host Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hello.
How you doing, today, Mara?
I'm great.
You sure?
Yeah.
All is good.
All is good.
Checked everything. You all straight. All is fine.
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
issues. Good. Good.
None. It's hot in here. The heat is kicked out.
Oh, so it might be the funniest thing that's ever happened on one of our shows. Like, it's even funnier because we're live. And it's just like, like it had this not been one of the times that we were going live before the live days, I could have just edited that out.
Nope.
But we're live.
Live. And we had announced we had started before we actually started, so I know people were just sitting here waiting.
Like, yeah. And I told you we were starting. Like like it took you by surprise. You still
I
made that
moved and I
choice.
was just I moved and I had to I literally was like knee-jerk decision. I was like, check now. Do it really fast.
And the thing is, the reason why he did it now is still escaping me because not like the people watching can tell.
I don't know. Because I was just hot. I was just curious. I was like, will I notice it?
Here's the thing, and those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you missed it. Doesn't matter. I'm not telling you what it is either. It's if you were paying attention, you know. If you weren't, you missed out. Sorry.
What an entrance.
Oh man. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Mara's antics and as far as what she does on the live internet. We're here to talk about different comic book properties across all the different platforms and TV shows and whatnot. All the DC stuff, all the Marvel stuff, all that stuff. Formerly Super Flashy Arrow tomorrow when it was just the Arrowverse, but now we just expand. We doing all that shit.
We've moved on. It's been
Yeah,
84 years.
Oh man, we have. Mark, have you seen Black Adam yet?
No,
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I'll leave that out.
I'm sorry. I mean, you could tell me. I'm gonna see it regardless. It's
Do
not gonna
not
take anything
apologize
away
to
from.
me. Apologize to Dwayne the Rock Johnson. That's who you should be apologizing to. You should actually tweet at him right now and tell him you're sorry because you haven't seen Black Adam yet.
My Twitter's private. He probably won't see it.
Mm-mm-mm. Shame. So you can't even properly apologize to the man.
I'm sorry.
Again, don't apologize to me. Apologize to him.
I mean, if he sees it here, there's a better chance that he'll get my sorry.
I don't think The Rock listens or watches our podcast, but if he does, he knows. That'd be great if he
Well,
did. If you do listen or watch our show, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like a little repost or retweet, all the kind of signal boost would be great. I'd appreciate that shit.
right? That would
Right.
that would do wonders.
It would. It would. Like ridiculous wonders. Preposterous wonders. Like
Like
preposterously undeserved wonders.
like world life changing
For
proportion.
everyone. Not to mention it would definitely piss Matt off because he you know, retweeted like this show instead of the wrestling show.
Yeah, it would still be funny though.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. I'd find it great. He probably wouldn't like it so much, but I would. I mean, I'm sure he'd be happy for it happening anyway, but like a small piece of him would be like, well, why did it happen on there and not the wrestling show? At least it would for me. And we're very similar, so I figure, same thing would happen with him.
What is The Rock's at? Is it just The
Probably,
Rock?
probably at The Rock or at Dwayne Johnson. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. I haven't like tweeted at him in
Oh,
like
it's
ever.
The Rock.
Yeah, that's what I figured it would probably be The Rock, but figure he's more likely to respond to you than he is to me. So. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about some shows. We got
I'll see it
Titans and
soon.
Stargirl this week.
I'll see
Hmm?
it soon. I got tickets to see Wakanda, so
You don't have to talk to me about this. This is not. I'm not the person that you need to convince. I don't make any more money if you see this movie or not. Like it does not matter to me. I was just curious if you'd seen it. That's all.
well, I only was really apologizing because I thought you were going to share something, but it was contingent on whether or not I had seen the movie. So I was saying sorry.
Kinda, but it's not really a game changer. Anything like that for me. It's not important. It
Oh,
was.
okay. I was really just
And honestly,
apologizing.
by the time we got to this point, I've now forgotten what I was going to say. So it's just
I just felt bad that I kind of got in the way of what you were going to share.
I honestly don't remember. Much better Hawkman in the movie than they did on Legends. I'll say that. But
Oh, okay. Cool.
far more interesting than the Carter they did in that first season of Legends of Tomorrow that we like to pretend didn't happen.
I wait for it to arrive on HBO.
Yeah, it's a little patience. It'll be there. But yeah. Let's get into these shows. We got Stargirl and we got Titans this week. So
You know exactly where I want to start.
yeah, you want to start with Stargirl, right? Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go ahead and do that. So what was this episode of Stargirl called?
Frenemies, Chapter 10, The Killer.
Dun dun dun.
Dun.
So yeah, in this episode we find out, I guess we find out who killed the gambler and who's actually been watching. Because yeah.
Well, we kind of still get like an insinuation as to who killed the gambler. It's now the most makes sense and
makes the
probable.
most sense and yeah, what's
Yeah,
most
it's
probable.
the
Yeah.
most probable answer.
But we definitely see who's been watching because we go into the little space where the watching was happening, and the person who's been watching was wearing the same attire when he showed up. And
Oh boy,
yeah.
this is
And here's
probably
the thing. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Anyway,
yeah.
So this episode is, you said the name of the episode already, right?
The Killer.
Yeah. So this whole thing kicks off at the Croc House. And
It's a very interesting viewing of the Croc House. Like you kind of pretty much are getting like a nice little HGTV tour of the house,
or at least their version of it.
yeah. And it's
as
just
normal
like,
as they can be.
yeah, they're doing normal stuff, like Paula is baking a cake.
She's got better at that sort of thing.
Yeah, I forgot what Crusher's real name is, but like he's doing stuff for his gym.
Yeah, I don't know his real name. I've always just called him Sportsmaster. So,
and I always forget that term too. So like I know he has like a regular name, I just don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And then Artemis, I guess, is getting ready for tryouts for stuff, which we find
trying
out
out for a
later.
college football team as a QB.
Proud of her.
Shattering glass ceilings and shit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Love it. Love to see it. It's almost like they have fully reformed. It's like they're showing like, look how far they've come and look how much they've changed.
And anybody who's logical and paying attention realizes this is a bad sign for them.
Honestly, I thought it was a ploy at first because when they went out for their run and they ended up outside the McKent house, the way they were talking, I was just like, and here's where the actual nefarious plan kicks in.
Well, I figured they were just gonna do something dumb and end up trying to run in there and fight them, you know, because it's kind of shit they do. But but
But
yeah,
yeah, they ended
because
up
they,
just being like, we should just talk to them.
hmm yeah, they were, you know, like I said, doing all things like she made a cake. Sports Medicine had his protein bars and shit, and they had a little happy morning jog. They're like high fiving neighbors and shit. Like it's yes, a whole lot of that happened. But they're like, yeah, they stop at the icicle house and they just like, yo, we could go in there and take, you know, handle this our way, but like, yo, we don't solve problems with violence anymore. So you know, we gonna think of something. And
We're gonna solve this.
yeah, yeah. Because we got new homies now. We gotta look out for the new homies.
We gotta keep a lookout for our peoples.
Yeah, yeah. So then we got Mike and the Jakeem, they like wandering around in the woods and all that because you know they
Are
were
they
just
wander or are they stuck? Because I was under the impression they were stuck.
no, they're not stuck. They just far as fuck away, and
Or
so
like
they
not
try.
stuck, but like lost.
Well, I mean, that's what you do when you lost. You wander.
Okay. I always think of wandering like a voluntary exploratory thing, like with like their predicament. It just kind of seemed more like you got lost wherever you ran off into.
Yeah, yeah. You wander when you lost. You also, you know, exploring is the intentional thing. So yeah, I guess it just depends on you know how you see these things. Um,
Mm.
but yeah. So apparently they can't wish themselves back home because you came use that wish up and it didn't really do what they wanted. It just, you know,
Didn't pan out that well.
yeah, because home is where the heart is. Because that fucking pen, you know, they weren't specific enough.
He was just like, home's where the heart is, and you want to be with your friends, no?
Yeah, and then later on when they finally do something else, I'm just like, yeah, you could have just wished to go somewhere else close to home and did it better. Why didn't you do that? And they finally realized they can do that because
Because they're kids and they're
yeah,
dumb.
yeah, yeah, kids are fucking dumb. But anyway, they also end up with a phone booth out in front of them because they asked for phone service. Um, yeah, yeah, and the phone works. They just need a dime, and they don't have one because you know who that's not an
Look,
adult carries change around with them. You know.
I relate. Like the look of flabbergasting that Luna has on her face anytime she asks to get like something, get like an icy from like the or an icy from like one of those people who sell ices at the corner and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I be telling her, I was like, well, they don't take electronic pay, Luna. I don't have cash on me. She looks astounded every time. I'm like,
Like the fuck
sis,
you mean?
right. I'd be like, sister, I don't carry physical cash because that's how I end up spending it on things.
Like ice cream for me? Yes, you should. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah,
Like,
she was just like, I don't understand why you're not carrying cash, mom. Because I suck and apparently Apple Pay is just not everywhere.
no, it's not. It's not. Neither is Google Pay. So it's just, um,
They're the only ones I've come across that I can't do Apple Pay with, them and ice cream trucks. One day, and AMC theaters, specifically the concession stand.
it's very
AMC theaters do
specific.
not, yeah, they don't take Apple Pay, and I find it to be the most baffling things ever
Do they
because you
take
can,
Google Pay?
but they like, I mean, like it's just inside, like they on the app and the site, you can use Apple Pay to buy tickets, but if I buy popcorn at the concession stand, I cannot use Apple Pay,
Right,
and
right, right. But I'm asking, do they take Google Pay at the concession stands?
I don't think they take any kind of tap to pay
They don't do
because
tap to pay,
every
period. Okay. That's what I was trying
yeah,
to figure out. Okay.
it's so yeah, it's like a tap to pay thing. Like they don't do it at all. It's like what?
Neither does Walmart, though, which is odd.
I've heard that before, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's so. I feel like that's so weird. I was like, I don't think I've ever noticed that, but I
I
realized I
found
haven't
that
been to a
out.
Walmart
Right. I found that
in
out
so long.
randomly because I had to get a new card like a year or so ago. and I was using Google Pay for everything, tap to pay with my phone. And I got to Walmart
Mhm.
like, oh, y'all don't do Google Pay here. Like, no. I'm like, well, shit, I don't have a damn card right now because I had to shut the one I have down because there was some issues and I had to get a new one. So yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this sucks. Well, I can't buy this stuff
It
then, and yeah, I'm
That's
not putting
always
it
the
back
way.
either. So
He start being like, make the tap to pay work, or I'm gonna leave all this shit here at this register.
yeah, it wasn't a lot of stuff. It's
And
probably
it's
like
from
three things, but it was.
and it's from all over the store, so you got to go to three different departments.
It was from three very distinct locations in the store, so it wasn't like they were all grocery or like all
See, that's my
electronics
just
or
desserts then.
yeah.
It's my just desserts. You have to put this shit back anyway.
Oh man, but you know what? I'm keeping people employed because the guy that puts stuff back has a job for a reason now.
That is true. They are usually
Hmm.
seasonal.
I'm helping the economy. That's the way I'm seeing it. But anyway, we got Ultra Humanite is still out looking for them, of course.
They still don't know who he is yet.
Yeah.
He
So
sounds
there's
scary.
you said what?
I said he sounds scary out in
Who
them
sounds good? Oh, yeah, his
the ultra
roaring and
humanite.
all that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I want no parts of him either. Like, so there's some more discussion that happens, and they talk about how that's signal was most likely fake, and I'm in my parentheses here. I'm like, of course. Um, the icicles weren't the ones watching because it's just like, why would they be? Um,
Right.
and got the icicles in the hospital with Grandpappy. Granny's pissed, and she sends Cameron after Courtney. Clearly wants him to kill her. We know that's not gonna happen, but
She said you need to kill all the mofos, and she said it in the most grandma way possible.
yeah.
You
In the
know what needs to be done.
in the old immigrant granny spot style, she said exactly what needs to happen, at least in her eyes. Then we got Beth's parents. They're checking out Rick. He's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. He's definitely not fine. We've known that for weeks now. They were like, yo, your heart rate and blood pressure are at unnatural levels. They don't say what those levels are. I'm like, give me some numbers. Like, what you mean? Like, we talking two something over like 180? Like, what we doing right now? Like,
I'm not gonna make up a number because I don't know what the healthy one is.
yeah. I've been forced to learn those things over the last couple years, so it's just I kind of know where everything should be as far as those things go. But yeah, yeah. And he's like just raging out, talking about he's fine. And Beth was like, okay, well, if you're fine, you know, take off the hourglass, turn it off for 10 minutes. Like, it won't, what will 10 minutes do? And he refuses. Talking about, you don't ever try to tell me what to do no more. He's losing his shit and storms out.
Storms up. I was like, this is. I was like, I guess this is a great time to throw in an addiction storyline.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what's happening.
Uh, it's just like of all the things going on, this is what we have. Like they just add more stress to like the story, and I'm just like,
I guess
how
because they
easy?
established this ensemble in season one, so everybody has to have something interesting going on, and if they don't, then you don't care about them. And I kind of see why they did it. It's just this was not a good choice, if you ask me. The whole,
Yeah, I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this story?
like I feel like it would be enough if he just doesn't trust these villains that Courtney is trying to trust, and you know, it makes sense for him not to trust them. So like we could have just
Yeah,
gone with that story for him, but we had to throw in,
yeah, like they keep trying
the
to
addiction
like,
roid rage thing, and yeah.
because it was weird how like they were doing everything, like all this stuff, like with his shit with Grundy and
Yeah, what happened
Now,
to the
like
Grundy thing? Like we giving up on
that,
Grundy?
yeah, like that just kind of just gave up, like, or he got distracted with all of this other shit with the hourglass stuff, and it's like it's weird, like what they're doing with their stories is just kind of strange what they're doing with it. Like I feel like with Rick especially, like they're trying to like maintain, it feels like they're trying to maintain this, like, remember he's just a teenager, like remember he's just a kid at the same time, and da da da, but then they keep putting him, they keep painting him like this adult
Mm-hmm.
just kind of charading around with these other kids.
Yeah. It's like,
If anything,
so
out of
did
all
you
of
get held
them,
back for 3 years in high school? Like, what's going on with you?
because that's what it comes off as, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just like, Rick, how don't you realize that this is not like, this is like obviously like the effects of like roids.
Because he's a teenager and teenagers are stupid.
But they keep trying to give him like this boyish like nature, like when he was like, even like the like a week or last week or the week before, when he was just like, I don't like this idea, but I have your back no matter what. Like the way he was coming off about it, even though I know like his hormones are all fucking crazy because he's a
Mm-hmm.
teenager and he's like on magic steroids. um it's just like they keep trying to maintain that little boy
Mm-hmm.
ish, like trying to keep him youthful when nigga out here is really just a step away from like snapping Beth's neck or some shit.
Clearly, like, put if he like nudged in the wrong direction, everybody in that room is dead. Like, it's
You know what I'm
just
saying? Like,
so. Then we got Sylvester and Pat. They go to see the icicles, and I was wondering last week, like, yo, where the fuck is Sylvester? But I think they explained it for like real simple, explain away kind of thing that I wasn't buying last week. I don't remember what it was, but it was just okay, whatever. And but yeah, I even said it here in my little notes here when Sylvester and Pat go to see the icicles. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. And because Pat's convinced, well, not convinced, but he needs to like make sure that they don't have Mike because Mike's missing. And
look, it was around this scene that I was kind of just like, y'all need to figure out your timelines better, because I was like, there's no way it is the morning after or the day after, and this old nigga is back home already after having an almost damn near fatal heart attack. No way possible. There is no way possible the hospital just let him go.
well, he has superpowers. He's all right.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
but for
yeah,
plot purposes, he was the only one home.
yeah. Somehow he was back home and was the only one home. Like he
Only
was
one
left
home,
home
walking
alone.
around, right, walking around to his own devices. This nigga just had his heart stopped like 18 hours ago
Yeah, yeah. But luckily Beth defibrillated him.
and called
Because she,
911.
yeah, yeah,
But then, and that's why I was even more just like, come on, Pat. You're probably one of the more brightest people, one of the more brighter people in this group of people. And you really think these old bitches have something to do with this when they were just in the hospital?
yeah. It was one of them things like, yo, when all this is going on, is when Mike was gone. Like they didn't have time to kidnap Mike. Like it's
It
just
was like the
like,
first time I was like, thank God Sylvester's talking.
yeah, yeah. Sylvester was the one saying like, yo, it doesn't make any damn sense. They don't have them. Like if we here to fight, just say we here to fight. I'm down for that. But like, just
He was just like, no, no, no. No weapons. No nothing. No
yeah,
staff.
didn't bring the
No.
staff or nothing. Like, yo, like we are walking dead into the lion's den right now, and you want me to leave the staff at home because you think they might have Mike, even though I'm telling you, there's no way they have him because it doesn't make any damn sense. But okay,
Their deductive reasoning is crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, so Grandpapa tells them about like what they faced back where they were from, and I want to assume Norway, right?
yeah,
Because
one
they're
of them.
always speaking they're always speaking Norwegian. So
Yeah, so one of them Scandinavian countries up there, Norway, Finland, somewhere up in there, one of them
yeah.
Viking folks.
Hmm. Them sweaters are screaming Norway though. But anywho, um,
I don't know what Norway sweaters look like, so I'm gonna just take your word for it.
my grandmother went once for a conference, and she brought me back like the warmest, thickest, but it didn't even look it sweater.
Oh,
It's also
okay.
very itchy, but it was very quality. It was quality sweater.
So like, if you wear some long sleeve under it to keep it from itching you, you'd be good.
Yes.
Gotcha. It's
Hmm.
like a long sleeve tee under your Norwegian sweater, and you all good.
Yeah. Throw a vest over it. Solid.
A vest over the sweater. Okay.
I'm a layer queen, so yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not judging you for it. I'm just making sure I understood what you were saying.
No, I love it.
Okay.
I hope I'm painting a picture for you.
I am. I mean, you are. I'm seeing the picture. Layer it up.
But yeah, so he talks about like when they left, they were burning bitches at the stake, like witches, because of what they are. So he pretty much told Pat at the end of the day, you should take your family and leave Blue Valley, get far away from here, or
Well, my
come
wife's
for
gonna
us.
kill you.
Right. Leave or come for us. Like one of the ways. You can't sit here idly.
Basically, make up your mind. Either we doing this or we not. Like, if we doing this, cool. My wife's probably going to kill you, but you can also just get the fuck out.
Right.
Like,
Like I'm
if you
giving
get
you
the
the
fuck
chance.
out and you're not here, pretty sure the wife won't chase you down because she's good where she's at.
Right.
But
She old. She tired. She not doing all that.
yeah,
But you stay here where she can easily walk to your house.
exactly. Like, if given enough time, I'm pretty sure I can keep Cameron in check. But the wife,
She is not happy.
at all. Uh,
And I was just like, yo, he deserved some thug life glasses for that.
basically, he told him like it is. It is. This is it. This is what's happening. But yeah. So after all this, or while this is all happening, probably at the same time,
It's probably like right afterwards, it
yeah,
feels like
yeah. Granny shows up at the at the home house, and
the
she,
Whitmore Dugan house.
yeah, and confronts Barbara, about to attack her, but Tiger shows up and you know crossbow. Like, next time I won't miss on purpose, and I'm just like, well, why'd you miss on purpose the first time? Um,
Right? Why'd you
but
give the warning shot? I guess it's her effort at
yeah,
showing like we are reformed, we can do more than just
right.
violence.
Not choosing violence every time here, and I'm like, well, this is one of those cases where it's okay to choose violence. She attacked first, like, it's okay.
Right. She got ice powers, so
Yeah.
I'm
Then you
definitely
turn
okay
the
with you.
right, right, and then she like lets Barbara like, yo, you need to learn how to use this. Like, and so much. That's enough of this. I don't want to learn how to be violent. But I'm like, not you. She was about to kill you. You need to be able to defend yourself.
Right? Like there's
Um,
one thing about being malicious. It's one thing to be malicious. It's another thing to be defending yourself.
right. So out in the woods, Mike and Jakeem, they're still, trying to get up out of there. And they run into Cindy because they get caught in one of her traps. Apparently, that trap was meant to catch Ultra Humanite because she's like, pretty sure that's who killed the gambler. That can clear my name and I can rub it in everybody's face.
To be like, nana nana boo boo, I'm not as bad as you thought I was. Stick your head in doo doo.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, there's some back and forth there. And then she Batmans them and disappears when they look away because,
They were just like, how the fuck?
yeah, yeah. She cranked that Batman on them.
Not crank that Batman.
You remember Crank That Batman?
Wasn't it crank that Superman?
That was another one.
Oh, didn't know.
Watch me crank that Batman. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, maybe. it's not as catchy as the
Oh, it was
Superman.
not. It was not as mainstream as cranking that Superman. But anyway, then we got this whole moment with Barbara and Tigress. Crossbow teaching
Paula.
moment. Yeah, Paula. And Barbara's not good at this, like at all. But she's not supposed to be. She's never done it before. So cool.
And Paula tells her she's strong and Courtney's strong because she gets that from her.
Hmm.
She gives her the power to shoot it at the ground.
Yeah, yeah. Was it at the ground? Because they're like, where'd the arrow go? We don't
It
know.
seemed as if I could have swore it went into the ground.
Well, I saw it like go off to the left, so I'm like, it could have hit the ground. It was on a downward trajectory, so it probably did hit the ground, just past the target.
Yeah, I thought it was like to the side of it. I was just like, I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Then we get the Courtney and Cameron face to face. We've been waiting on this all episode, basically, and does not go well. He's like, "Yo, who killed my pappy? Like, who killed my dad?"
Is it bad that I really thought that she was gonna cave and say it was Mike?
Part of me thought she was gonna do it too. Like,
I was just
don't
like, oh my god! Every time the
do
music
that
slowed
shit.
down, I was just like, oh my god, she's gonna say his name. She's gonna say his fucking name.
Right. But then when she said it was her, I'm like, yeah, of course she did. It was just one
Yeah,
of them things. Like it made sense that she would do that.
she was just like, yep, got to do this for the greater good.
Yeah, because one of them things, like if I say it's anybody but me, he might try to kill them. But he
Yeah,
most likely wouldn't try to kill me. So yeah, makes sense for her to do that.
and now she gotta live with. He never wants to see her again. But I was like, that's not really a shocker because I mean, would you?
No,
Even if he found out it wasn't her that had killed um Jordan,
yeah,
I'd still be
she was
like,
clearly involved, and yeah,
yeah, like I still wouldn't want to be involved with her.
yeah. Yeah, if I were to find out that somebody I was close to killed my father or was involved in the killing of my father, I'd never want to speak to them either. So,
You feel me?
and honestly, it's one of those things like, yeah, I really don't care what he did. Like,
He's like, yeah, he colored outside the lines a little bit here and there, but he
yeah,
was
because
my dad.
he doesn't know he was on some world domination, kill like half the population kind of thing. It was so there's no way for him to realize how necessary that was.
He
But
said,
in his
that's my
head, I don't.
dad.
Yeah, but basically, in his head, I don't care what my dad did because that kind of shit was not in his head at all. So
He's like, because that's my dad.
yeah,
That whole mind thing was really weird. So that's why I keep emphasizing about that. It's my dad, mine. And I was just like, who are you trying to prove that to?
I say, who else is he? Like somebody
You know what I'm
trying to claim
saying?
him, bro?
Like,
Like,
this is not some Mortal Instrument shit. She is not your sister. Don't worry about it.
like it's okay. She is not trying to claim your father. I don't think anybody is at all. Um, but yeah, then we got Sportsmaster and Tigress. They finally go to the icicle house.
They said,
Um,
hear us out.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, it doesn't end well. It was just things are. Go ahead.
Well, they asked them to like, could you possibly like forgive everyone? Because it's just like all this revenge shit's gonna like keep hurting people at the end of the day, and that's not what Jordan was. It's not ultimately was not his goal. Was not to hurt everyone at the end of the day, but we're hurting our children with this, and they were just like, forgiveness. That grandmother looked like she'd rather stick like a hot iron in her eyeballs
Hmm.
than forgive them.
Yeah, yeah. She'll kill that entire town before she just forgives. It's just
And then grandpa's like, I can forgive them. Cause
he been trying to squash it for a while.
yeah, he's just like I'm tired.
Like I literally just had a heart attack. Like I'm tired as hell. Like
Right?
let's
Like
squash this shit. So then we got this time with Pat and Sylvester in the garage. Pat's like, yo, I'm gonna just, fly around and see what I can see. But then Mike and Jakeem come back and Yeah, they tell him what they found out, and then
And then
there's a
they
whole
look
meeting.
shook.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were like, "Oh no."
yeah. So then we have a whole meeting with everybody minus Rick because Rick's off roid raging by himself. Um, and
Mm.
they're like telling everybody about Ultra Humanite and who he is and what he's done and all that shit. Apparently, he won an Oscar. Um, but yeah, yeah, and everybody's shook.
Solidly evil.
Yeah, and yeah, Courtney's like, yo, this is what I was talking about. Why we all got to come together, like us, the Crocs, the Icicles, all of us got to come together to fight Ultra Humanite because we none of us can do it on our own, or he gonna tear apart everything. Blah 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 blah.
All I'm trying to figure out is like, how are you gonna make them care about that?
Good question. Um, but then, well, we don't get another moment with him until at all. So good a time as any to bring this up. You said you were going to look up, who the villains were pre Ultra Humanite that Superman faced. Do you have an answer?
So I went looking through as many wiki pages as I could because it's clearly not as easy to find just a straight answer or a list anymore. Um, but mostly everything in issues 1 through 12 in volume 1 of Action Comics were like single appearance human criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think the first one was a woman. Um, her name was, do I still have it? Yeah, Beatrice Carroll. And she was originally unnamed in the first Action Comics, but when they redid the storyline, when they retold the story in Superman issue 1, they had finally given her a name, which was Beatrice Carroll.
So we started the series off with Superman beating an unnamed woman. Got you.
Mhm. Well, he brought her in to be arrested.
Oh, he didn't whip her ass? Okay, cool.
No. Um, like, and then like the next issue was like a lobbyist person. Um, like it was a lot of like,
Comics are so weird.
yeah, it was low key kind of like a very innocent way of them storytelling. It was this
Mhm.
kind of like well, and then almost like in a sense was like this was what Clark was doing or Superman was doing in Metropolis before like other superheroes started coming out and they faced like a bigger threat, which I think was Ultra Humanite.
Mhm.
Um because around the time that he came out was around the time they had started unveiling other heroes. Um, and he came out with like Ultra Humanite came up during one of the later issues of Justice League of America. But he is still like a recurring. He was still like a recurring foe
Mhm.
of Superman's. So there was a lot of reading I had to do to find this, and I was really hoping that like my favorite library site had not been taken down, so I could have just read through them.
Mhm.
But it was seized by the government, so there that went.
Okay.
But yeah, humans
Just
were,
regular people. Got you.
yep, that you had gangs. A lot of it was like a recurring gang group, and some it's really just like evil
So yeah.
business people.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. The idea of supervillains weren't really a thing yet. So
Yeah, not until Ultra Humanite.
mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, now we have an answer. Good to know.
Hmm.
So later on, the Crocs are walking home and they get a video call from their child, Artemis, to let them know it all went well. She is going to be the first female quarterback in college football history.
which is great.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were so
shattering
they were
glass
such
ceilings and
proud
shit.
parents.
They were. They were so happy, and they were just like, "Yep, well, this is when you die."
Yeah,
And I'm like, they
something
are lingering
about
on them
it.
entirely too long right now.
Something was going on, and it's just like something about this doesn't feel good. Like
Yeah,
they're
the
playing,
longer
they're
it went.
doing good deeds. They're doing good deeds. They're feeling good. They're getting great news. Now they're going down into the sewers, and I'm just like, this can't be good.
Yeah, yeah, because those flyers pop up of him, of his, stuff he put out earlier, and they follow it down into the sewers, and they get into that room where whoever was watching all the people on the monitors, and turns out it's actually Icicle, and he's the one that's been watching, and he kills them both. And at first,
Jordan
I'm like, oh, they're just
loves
frozen. They're not necessarily dead yet. And then they shatter. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're dead.
dead and gone.
Yep. Dead and gone.
I was just like, that took a turn.
It did. It did. Because one of the last things I expected was to see Icicle again. Because
That's
we
when
already
he
got
took
Ultra
his.
Humanite. So I'm like, we don't need another villain. So, but yeah, there's Icicle. Okay.
I just, yeah, when he pulled the mask off, I was just like, is it going to be Cameron? Because that doesn't really feel like that makes sense. And then it was Jordan. I was just like, say what now?
Yeah. Yeah. And my whole thing is, what the fuck was you wearing a mask for? Couldn't nobody see your face anyway? Like, you were hiding away down in the sewers. Like, who are you hiding your
Right?
face from?
Who are you scared you were going to run into?
Yeah. It's like, why were you concealing your identity? Who are you concealing your identity from? We do see some previews from the next week's episode. His hands are like not okay. They were like icy and shit, and like fingers was missing and all that kind of stuff. So it's just he probably has some other stuff going on, but at the same time, it's just like, if your hands are melting, covering them in leather is probably not your best bet.
Right? Just producing more heat.
Yeah, yeah. Like honestly, you should be walking around naked. Again,
But
you're down the
yes,
sewer,
so
nobody can see you anyway. So it's not like you're traveling around the upper, the real world where people can just, check out your cash and prizes all the time.
well, I guess we'll find out more about that next week.
Yeah. However,
But
for now, unless you got something else for Stargirl.
I will say that, like, I mean, I say this every week now. I just be watching it, trying to wait and see what this tie-in to,
Crossover.
yeah, will be. And I was just like, okay, we're introducing more story. Is Human Knight here because of Jordan, or is Jordan just here by chance? Is this two different things going along? Is one of these going to tie into it? So,
It's a good question.
yeah, it's just there's a lot of going on. I will say that the twist ending of Jordan being the one who's been watching them this entire time did very much catch my attention. So,
Yeah, it did. But for me, it was just like it caught my attention, but I would have liked it more if it happened earlier. Because
this
it's
is
just
true.
like, and I understand the whole thing of them wanting to develop the Crocs more and make it feel more impactful when he kills them. But it's just like you drew out this whole who is it watching them for too long for me. And it'd be different if they didn't show it at the end of every episode. It was just like if you had
Yeah, if they had
left that
just
alone for an episode or two and let me forget about it for a second, I'd have felt better about it most likely.
if they had let it go for like 3 weeks or so, like if they had just showed it once and not shown it again for like
Yeah,
till
show it that first time at the
till they
beginning, show it when
till
they
they
find
found
out,
out.
and show
Yep.
that episode when they were looking for the cameras. That would have been enough. I'd have been cool with those 3 times. Like,
But 8 like 8 weeks of this ain't it.
Yeah, yeah.
We will find out on the next episode of
So,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else with Stargirl though? I don't have anything else, but do you?
Um, no.
Okay. Titans then.
Yeah.
What was this episode of Titans called, Mara?
Jinx.
Appropriate. See, appropriate names for the episodes. What are we dealing with this episode in Titans? Jinx. That's what we're dealing with. So cool. Let's do this. So this episode kicks off. They got Rachel. She's waking up from whatever the fuck Mother Mayhem did to her. Her power is gone. And she's just like, yo, what the fuck? I can't like feel y'all shit anymore. Like, uh-oh. So kind of makes sense though if you want to help with, making things more of a challenge. You lose one of your biggest guns. Makes sense.
Right? Lose your witch when you're fighting magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of puts a hink on the plan.
Exactly. So then we got these security dudes. They got, these barrels. We see they're full of blood because one of them gets like caught on something and he's got to fix it and blood is leaking out. And then he gets like attacked by this blood spider thing that goes in his ear and kills him. And then the other one comes along and another blood spider thing goes in her ear and kills her. And I'm like, ooh, that's unsettling.
What horrible ways to die.
As I write down evil blood spider for D&D. Eventually, there's going to be an evil blood spider in something that I do with D&D.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Not with us, please.
Oh, it probably will be with y'all.
No.
That's y'all is the one that's pretty much completely made up and homebrewed by myself. So yeah, that's where the weird shit is going to happen. The evil blood spider is most likely going to happen with y'all. So then we got Mother Mayhem in their temple place, and she's got her wand. And she's where she absorbed Rachel's power from, and she's putting it into this crystal. What is she going to do with this crystal? We really don't know, but she was just like, this power shouldn't have been hers to begin with, and all that shit, and blah blah blah.
I was like, you talking a lot of shit for someone
who had to steal power from somebody else. Like,
yeah.
So then there's some more discussion, and Dick lets Robin know, like, yo, your training's about to start now. There you learn, how to be a Titan. You're going to learn how to use that staff and all that kind of shit.
Hey.
Yeah. Then Sebastian gets a call on his mobile phone, pretending to be one of those people from the meeting he went to, who's trying to sell his mobile game. Like, yeah, come on in. We had a change of heart. We want to buy that shit. Come on in here. But
Bixel has changed their mind.
Yeah, but it turns out it was actually Mother Mayhem pretending to be that dude.
Just pushing him to the edge. That's all I'm saying she's doing. She's just gaslighting him into becoming Brother Blood.
Yeah. Let's see. So then we got Dick and Corey, like, all right, we got this. Dick lets Corey know we gotta do some shit. What are you about to say?
No, I was continuing.
Okay. So they're going to the prison to go get Jinx because Dick knows her and like she can help. And like, I release her into your custody and all that kind of stuff. And she's taking off her shoe and like Dick's like, oh shit, no, do not let her foot touch the ground, because apparently her foot touching the ground is a thing. And
she can turn into a tornado.
Yeah. She just escapes in a tornado because that's the thing.
I guess
I was like, all right, I guess, escaping in a tornado is a thing. I'd like to escape via tornado at times too. So,
I was going to say, like, how don't they already know that about her though?
Yeah, and they were even saying they like had her in solitary since they had her. She was like completely locked up for reasons, I'm assuming, like this. So like, how are they this bad at their job? And
Look at
what
what
I'm saying
universe they're
is
in.
shit like that. When people complain about all the villains that Batman put away, they keep getting out. I'm like, that's not Batman's fault. That's a
Right.
city issue. Like it's just like
That's your tax dollars going to work.
that's the incompetence of the city. Like shit like this. I'm not sure what she was referring to here.
Um, I want to say her shoe.
No, I think she said that before this. Maybe it had something to
Oh,
do with taking the powers or something like that. I don't know.
oh, yeah, that does make sense. Mother Mayhem style.
Hmm. Um, but yeah, yeah. Anyway, villains escaping. That's a city thing. It's not the hero's fault. Um, yeah, she was talking
Yeah,
about
Mother
Mother
Mayhem.
Mayhem. Okay. Let's see. So then we got Gar and Rachel. They're hanging out in their, in their RV,
And
and
he starts hearing voices.
yeah, so he's got to, something's up, so he's got to step out. This is one of them times where like, it'd be good if Rachel had her powers right now, like,
You would
yeah,
be
yeah,
set.
exactly. Let's see, so yeah, he steps outside, and Gar's like, yo, I need to talk to these voices. Maybe they can help, all that kind of shit, and yeah, walks off into the woods, and she just follows him because you know.
After everything I've seen with Gar the last couple of days, I'd be like, I ain't trying to be
What's the thing? She
anywhere
didn't
that
see
you
most of
can
that.
black out. No, I know. It's just, I'm saying like me personally as the viewer,
Hmm.
I as Mara would not.
Yeah, yeah, that was the thing. Like she hadn't seen a lot of that. Like she may have been told what happened, but if she didn't actually see it, it's just like you don't really know.
Don't know how scary it got.
Yeah. So then we got, in Metropolis, Tim is training with Connor. He's like hitting him with the staff, and Connor just like, okay,
Eating it,
whatever. Yeah.
whatever you're doing.
Hmm. Jinx is stealing some shit. We see it's a box with a heart in it, and she's like, yo, this thing is dangerous. Don't fuck with it. And Corey fucks with it, opens it, and turns her into stone.
She fucked around and found out.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. And I'm just thinking to myself, how y'all mad at Jinx for this? She told y'all the thing's dangerous, leave it alone. And y'all fucked with it anyway, and now you don't like what happened. Guess what? You were warned.
But she's turned into stone, and we find out the heart belongs to a dark elf named
Or
Lirone.
dark elf, or a drow as it is in D&D.
Wow.
But drow, yeah, Drow.
Mm.
Um, but yeah. And she's like, yo, I can't, reverse it because it's not my spell. Blah blah blah. We could find out that was a fucking lie. But, that's what she said. It's not my spell. So if we want to get her out, we got to go to the person whose spell it is, that being this dark elf.
So pretty much we're going on a goosey chase.
Yeah. Then we got let's see. Yo,
Rachel and Gar back in the forest.
before that,
No. Oh, Sebastian goes
Sebastian.
back to Pixel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
And
are
he's just
both
like,
confused.
he was like, nigga, I didn't call you. And he's
He's
like,
like,
but
you
you called me.
did.
I can
I
drop
swear.
messages, and then we hear the magic noise happen. We can tell in that magic noise is when the
Chanting.
shit was getting like her getting enchanted. I mean, the dude getting enchanted so he can stab himself in the eye, but also like the shit on his phone disappearing because he can't find it. And yeah, the dude stabs himself in the eyes with scissors.
Whew. That shit was brutal.
Yeah, yeah, it was very uncomfortable to watch.
Yes. As somebody with eyeballs.
As someone with eyeballs, I can tell you that stabbing yourself in the eyeballs is probably very painful.
Very hard to watch.
Yeah,
Literally and physically. I mean, literally and figuratively.
yeah, yeah. So then we got Gar and Rachel in the woods. What were you gonna say?
They see the sky turn red,
Yeah, yeah. And
and God,
well,
yeah, it was pretty much
she
what,
doesn't
like
see it
God
at
was hearing.
first, but Gar has to hold her hand. Like, do you see it now? I don't know how that made her see it, but okay.
Yeah, me neither. I was just like, I thought this bitch has no magic. So how does
Yeah,
that
she don't
work?
have her powers anymore. Like, do you have powers that make her see shit? Like, that's not what your power is. You turn into animals and shit. Like,
You know what I'm saying?
how is
Like,
that a thing? What's happening here? These are the
just
questions.
making
These are the
me ask more
questions.
questions. Shout out to the eyeball crew.
Legit, legit.
Uh, oh, it's more of
So,
Tim virtually practicing after this.
yeah, and then we got Dick and Jinx in the car on their way to go see the Dark Elf, and
Tim
every
is a
time he says
slut.
something, every time he says
I mean,
something, Jinx
Tim is a
has an
slut.
innuendo behind it, and she's just like, "Oh, well, what if we do this? I thought you liked when I'm on top." All that kind of stuff, and it's just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Tim is a
I was
whore.
like, I was like,
Is
Dick, you're a whole slut.
yeah. The whole, the conclusion of all this is Tim gets around. He's been passed around by
Dick.
multiple women. They just his name is Dick, and that's all he is to many of them. He's like, you're just a dick for us to use, but we pass you around. You know, he thinks he's the one that's doing the playing, but no, no, it's all them. Like, no, you've been ran through, bro.
You being used. The capital U. He's a good looking guy though, so like can't be horrible.
Yeah. Um. So
They
all this
show
is
up.
all happening. Oh, go ahead.
They show up. I was gonna say they show up to some garage.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though, Corey, during that time, they show her and her eyes start glowing blue, and
Oh yeah, because Corey in her brain, he has been slurring himself out since he became a weapon of sudden destruction or weapon of pleasure. That electric stick does more than shock you,
we got a
or
vibrating
shock you. It
function
does
on it.
more than shock you with electricity.
I mean, unless that's what you're into.
Perhaps no. Oh yeah, Corey is in some different plane. Is that her mom or was that just someone who took care of her?
One of the there's the one that trained her, not her mother.
Okay. I was just like, oh man, this feels like so much backstory to remember.
Yeah, and
Or
it's one of those
previous
things like it wasn't even last. I think it was like at the beginning of last season or even the season before. Like it's just I don't remember exactly who she is, but yeah,
I was like, this is someone from Tamarin.
yeah. Who knows things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so during all this time, there, Connors and the Metropolis dude
Bernard.
and Star, yeah, him. They're doing all that research, and all the victims have a certain genetic mutation that comes from I forgot where they said. I didn't write that down. I don't think it's that important. Um,
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. I just knew that was something that they all had in common.
right. The
And they
important thing
found
is there's a symbol that the cult uses that is also the symbol used in Sebastian's mobile game. That's
hmm
I feel like that's the important thing to take away from that. Were you about to say something? I feel like I cut you off.
no, is that he created the symbol.
Oh, okay. So then now it's dark elf time when they arrive in the facility and the garage stuff all happens and yeah,
$200 to get into a club.
it better be the greatest club in the history of clubs that I've ever clubbed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because the anger that I would be having,
Yeah,
extraordinary.
yeah. I mean, it's also one of those things like if you got Wayne money, it's just what's $200?
Well, I mean, clearly, nigga
That's
gave him.
like telling me like, yo, it costs you $2 to get in here tonight. It's just
I mean, later on, he just gives her. He transfers over 5 million escrow for her. So I mean, like, what is $200 to?
exactly what's a
God,
goon
I
to a
wish I
goblin,
had that kind of. I wish I had that kind of stupid amount of money.
Hmm. So yeah, that whole shit with the Drows going down. He's got the box, brings it over. She's like, "How do I know you're not the one that stole it in the first place?" And blah blah blah. And so she sends her people after him. He whoops their ass, and then she goes after him himself. He wins that fight too.
Whoops her ass.
Yeah. And come to find out, like, no, all this was just a farce because there was no need to go back to this lady. She just wanted her money because she owes somebody $5 million, and if she don't pay, she gonna die. Yeah, she could have
Actually,
ended the
that's
spell
right.
herself the whole time.
Yep, but she had to get to the club to get some monies.
Yeah, yeah. And he was just like, "Why didn't you just tell me? Like, what the fuck?"
Just puts $5 million in escrow. Damn, I need to fuck uh, uh Dick Grayson.
You didn't say a sentence there. I don't know what you're
I
trying
said
to
I
tell
need
me.
to fuck a Dick Grayson.
Oh, okay, got you, got you. Oh, I see. Because at first
Yeah,
you did say I need to fuck a dick, and then you realized you had to.
I was trying to remember his last name because like we kept saying Tim, and I was like, it's not Tim, it's Dick.
Were we really saying Tim?
Yeah, we both did it.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure I did it first, and I think you followed suit, and I was just like, no, it's Dick.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Speaking of Tim, though, I've been watching him in this other show on Netflix, The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself. And the
hmm,
whole time I'm watching this, and he keeps like randomly pissing me off. I'm like, see, this is why Dick didn't give you a suit. Like, you fucking up.
this is why
Like,
you
what?
only get a stick.
Yeah, exactly. You fucking up. Show is fun though. The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself on Netflix. Check it out.
All right,
Yeah. So yeah, we go to Sebastian. He's locked up, in the interrogation room. I'm guessing
because
is
he got
where.
arrested for moiter.
Yeah. And to me, I'm just like, yo, if I'm him, I'm like, yo, I didn't kill the nigga. I was just there. Like, if you actually like dust the little scissor thing for prints, my prints aren't on it. I didn't touch him. He stabbed himself in the eye.
Where's camera footage? Like I'm always just like these big ass buildings that have all this supposed security. Where are the cameras?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't make
But
sense.
Mother Mayhem shows up and she's like trying to get him to do some shit, like say these words. And before he's able to finish, Connor busts in, grabs him, and pulls him out. Shouldn't mention earlier there was this little thing where he was going back and forth with Dick. I'm like, yo, I can take her. Like, I'm ready this time. He's like, no, no, no. Just
He
go
was
in there and
like,
get Sebastian and get the
slow
fuck
down.
out.
Just secure him and let's be done.
Yeah. And part of me this whole time was thinking, like, he's not going to listen. He's going to do some dumb shit because, it's what they do. But he didn't. He actually
Like,
goes and grabs Sebastian and gets out. So I'm like,
right.
okay.
Caught him right before he could say Zinthos.
Yeah. And they escape. And I guess while this is happening, Gar and Rachel out there wandering around in the red sky,
With their
and they
acid trip.
yeah, and they approach that tree cover, with the bones hanging from it that Gar saw in his nightmare, and that was it.
Trophies of a dark force. And he kept
Trophy.
and she was asking what he heard, and he said, when the blood moon turns full, the world will fall to evil.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that's exactly how he said it.
Mm. With all the inflections and everything.
Yes, with all the inflections and the fear.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that was Titans. Anything else with Titans you want to make sure we mention?
No. I finally started Doom Patrol, though.
Congratulations.
I'm making my way.
Downtown?
Walking fast.
Cool.
Faces pound, and I'm homebound.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mar. I hear Amani out there. She's now singing the song. Anyway, who's winning this week, Mar?
Jordan McKent, like 10, all 10 of my fingers. he is winning because that was probably
You
one of my
step up in
favorite.
the building, Jordan's hands go up, and they stay there, and they say, yeah. Yeah.
Because I have to say that was one of the more delightful, because it was actually kind of surprising to me. It was not on my
Mm-hmm.
bingo card.
They did something interesting. It was
Billing
interesting.
reveals that I've seen on a DC show in a while.
Okay. Who's losing?
The Crocs.
The dead niggas. Got you. Yeah. 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 I'm with you there too. Looks like we're in full agreement this week.
Love that.
Yeah. At first, I was thinking when I started to watch Titans, like, okay, something gonna happen in Titans that makes me think I'm gonna give it to somebody else. But I'm like, no, no. Even the dude that died, stabbed himself in the eye, I care less about him dying than I do about the Crocs. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember his name. Like they only said it like the one time when Mother Mayhem as called as him.
Yeah.
I only caught the company name that was Bixel.
Mm. All right. Well, all right, that'll be it for this week's episode of Creatia Comics. Do not forget you can follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. As always, I'm not telling you how to spell world. If you don't know how to spell world, get a damn dictionary. Or if you're watching us right now, you
It's
can use
on the
it right
screen.
here. It's right there. For those of you listening, yeah, get it together if you don't know how to spell it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Creatia World. We have a Facebook group for this particular podcast. Mara, what's that Facebook group?
Facebook.com/groups/Creatia Comics.
Cool. Now, also for you wrestling fans, there's also Smacking It Raw featuring the Warden Matt Ritter and Vince Daddy Delgado. They have their own Facebook group for that podcast as well. It is facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw. Also, for those of you who are fans of the Game of Thrones world, House of the Dragon, we did a whole thing reacting to all that shit as those episodes went. You can go back and listen to those, as they came out. We have a Facebook group for that podcast as well, facebook.com/group/them dragons. You can follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalot. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Mara the Shark, MARADASHARK.
I think that's it.
Woo-hoo.
We're going to catch y'all next week. Till then, we out.
See you then.